The Martin 187 Baltimore was a twin-engined light attack bomber built by the Glenn L. Martin Company in the United States, originally ordered by the French in May 1940 as a follow-up to the earlier Martin Maryland, then in service in France. With the fall of France, the production series was diverted to Great Britain and it was subsequently used almost exclusively in the Mediterranean and Middle East theater of World War II. Development of the Baltimore was hindered by a series of problems, although the type eventually became a highly versatile combat aircraft. Produced in large numbers, the Baltimore was not used in combat by the United States forces, but eventually served with the British, Canadian, Australian, South African, Hellenic, and the Italian air forces. Design and development. Initially designated the A-23, derived from the A-22 Martin 167 Maryland design, the Model 187, company designation, had a deeper fuselage and more powerful engines. The Model 187 met the needs for a light to medium bomber, originally ordered by the Anglo-French Purchasing Commission as a joint project in May 1940. The French Air Force sought to replace the earlier Maryland, 400 aircraft being ordered. With the fall of France, the Royal Air Force, RAF, took over the order and gave it the service name Baltimore. To enable the aircraft to be supplied to the British under the Lend-Lease Act, the United States Army Air Force's designation A-30 was allocated. With the passing of the Lend-Lease Act, 2 further batches of 575 and then 600 were provided to the RAF. Operational history. The first British aircraft were delivered in late 1941 to equip operational training units. The RAF only used the Baltimores operationally in the Mediterranean theater and North Africa. Many users were impressed by the step-up that the Baltimore represented from older aircraft like the Bristol Blenheim. The users of the Baltimore, and Martin pilot Benjamin R. Wallace, praised the aircraft for its heavy armament, structural strength, maneuverability, bombing accuracy, and relatively high performance, but crews complained of cramped conditions similar to those in the earlier Maryland bomber. Due to the narrow fuselage, it was nearly impossible for crew members to change positions during flight if wounded. The structure of the interior meant that the pilot and observer were separated from the wireless operator and rear gunner. This was common for most light bombers of the era like the Handley Page Hampton, Douglas Boston, and Blenheim. Crews also complained about the difficulties in handling the aircraft on the ground. On takeoff, the pilot had to coordinate the throttles perfectly to avoid a nose-over, or worse. Thrown into action to stop Rommel's advance, the Baltimore suffered massive losses when it was utilized as a low-level attack aircraft, especially in the chaos of the Desert War where most missions went unescorted. However, operating at medium altitude with fighter escorts, the Baltimore had a very low loss rate, with the majority of losses coming from operational accidents. Undertaking a variety of missions in the Middle East, Mediterranean and European theaters, the Baltimore's roles included reconnaissance, target towing, maritime patrol, night intruder, and even served as highly uncomfortable fast transports. The Baltimore saw limited fleet air arm service with aircraft transferred from the RAF in the Mediterranean to equip a squadron in 1944. Used in the anti-submarine role during the war, the Baltimore achieved moderate success, sinking up to 8 U-boats. The RAF also transferred aircraft to other allies in the Mediterranean area. After the capitulation of Italy in 1943, the type was used intensively in the Italian campaign to clear the road to Rome for advancing Allied forces. After the armistice, an Italian manned squadron, the 28th Bomber Wing, was equipped with ex-RAF Baltimores, becoming the CO belligerent Stormo Baltimore. The Italians suffered considerable attrition during their training phase on the Baltimore. The majority of accidents were during takeoffs and landings due to the aircraft's fairly high wing loading, high approach speed, and a directional stability problems during takeoffs. The Italians only operated the Baltimore for roughly 6 months. Many of those operations were in Yugoslavia and Greece, providing air support for partisan forces or dropping supplies. Most Baltimores were scrapped soon after the war, although one RAF squadron continued to use the type in Kenya where the aircraft were used in aerial mapping and locust control until 1948. In post-war service, the Baltimore took part in United States Navy instrument and control surface tests in the effort to break the sound barrier. With its powerful engines and light, yet robust construction, the aircraft was able to be dived at high speed, reaching Mach 0.74 in tests. All Baltimores were withdrawn from service by the end of 1949, the last one being retired on December 23, 1949. Variants: Baltimore B.I. Fitted with 1,600 HP, 1,193 kilowatts, Wright GR 2600A5B radial piston engines, armed with 10 0.303 in, 7.7 mm, machine guns, 8 fixed Brownings and 2 flexible Vickers K machine guns. All marks had 2 fixed 0.303 in, 7.7 mm, Brownings in the leading edge of each wing and 4 similar fixed guns, 2 on each side of the lower fuselage aft firing backwards, plus 2 flexible Vickers K guns in dorsal and ventral. 50 aircraft built. Baltimore B-2. As with the MKI, defensive armament was increased to 12 0.303 in, 7.7 mm, machine guns including twin 0.303 in, 7.7 mm, Vickers K machine guns in both the dorsal and ventral positions. 100 aircraft built. Baltimore B-3. Modified Mk2 design defensive armament was increased to 14 0.303 in, 7.7 mm, guns and improved with a hydraulically powered dorsal turret supplied by Boulton Paul in the UK with 4 Browning machine guns. 250 aircraft built. Baltimore B-3A, A-30 Ma. Ordered by USAF and supplied under Lend-Lease to the RAF, 20.50 in, 12.7 mm, machine guns in a Martin-built electrically powered dorsal turret. 281 aircraft built. Baltimore B-4, A-30A Ma. USAF order, Lend-Lease to RAF. 40.303 in, 7.7 mm, Brownings machine guns in the wings. 294 aircraft built. Baltimore BV, A-30A Ma. USAF order, upgraded with 2 1,700 HP, 1,268 kilowatts, Wright R2600-29 radial piston engines, wings fitted with 0.50 in, 12.7 mm, machine guns. 600 aircraft built. Baltimore GR6, A-30C Ma. 2 prototypes were built for maritime reconnaissance. They included a lengthened fuselage, accommodations for extra fuel tanks and a torpedo, and a radome in nose. The whole program was cancelled in April 1944. 900 cancelled. All of the series were built for the RAF. A number were lost on delivery across the Atlantic Ocean when 2 ships carrying Baltimores were sunk. Operators: Australia. Royal Australian Air Force. Number 454 Squadron RAF, Baltimore 3, 4, V, North Africa, Pescara, Italy, February 1943 – August 14, 1945. Number 459 Squadron RAF, Baltimore 4V, Mediterranean, July 1944 – March 1945. Canada. Royal Canadian Air Force. Baltimore B-3 FA-187. A single Baltimore was loaned to the RCAF by RAF Ferry Command for special project duties, 1942. Free France. Free French Air Force. GB-117th. Greece. Royal Hellenic Air Force. RHAF-13 Light Bomber Squadron, Baltimore 2, 4, Gambut, North Africa, Biferno Pescara, Italy, Balkans, 1943–1945. Kingdom of Italy. Italian CO Belligerent Air Force 49 aircraft. 28 degrees Gruppo, Stormo Baltimore, 1945 February 1948. 132 degrees Gruppo 254 Wing RAF. Italy. Italian Air Force operated the aircraft until 1947. South Africa. South African Air Force. Number 15 Squadron SAAF, Baltimore 3AV, Mediterranean, 1943–1945. Number 21 Squadron SAAF, Baltimore 34, North Africa, Italy, 1942–1944. Number 60 Squadron SAAF, Baltimore 23, North Africa, 1942–1943. Turkey. Turkish Air Force. 1st Bomber Regiment. United Kingdom. Royal Air Force. 1st Middle East Training Squadron. Number 13 Squadron RAF, Baltimore 4V, Italy, 1944. Number 52 Squadron RAF, Baltimore 3AV, Tunisia, Italy, February 1942 – February 1943. Number 55 Squadron RAF, Baltimore IV, Libya, Tunisia, Italy, 1942–1944. Number 69 Squadron RAF, Baltimore I-4, Mediterranean, 1942–1944. Number 162 Squadron RAF, Baltimore 3, Libya, 1943–1944. Number 203 Squadron RAF, Baltimore I-2, 3A, V, North Africa, 1942–1943. Number 223 Squadron RAF, Baltimore IV, North Africa, Italy, April 1941 – August 12, 1944. Number 249 Squadron RAF, Baltimore 4V, Southeast Europe, October 1945 – April 1946. Number 500 Squadron RAF, Baltimore 4V, Italy, 1944–1945. Number 680 Squadron RAF, Baltimore 3, V, Italy, 1944. Fleet Air Arm. 728 Naval Air Squadron, Baltimore GR-4V, Malta, September 1944 – November 1946. Survivors. Although the Baltimore was produced in greater numbers than any other Martin design except the B-26 Marauder, with 1,575 produced, no aircraft have survived intact, although the wreckage of several are known to exist. Specifications: Baltimore GRV. General characteristics. Crew: 4, pilot, navigator/bombardier, radio operator, gunner. Length: 48 feet 6 in, 14.8 m. Wingspan: 61 feet 4 in, 18.7 m. Height: 14 feet 2 in, 4.32 m. Wing area: 538.5 feet superscript 2, 50 square meters. Empty weight: 15,991 pounds, 7,253 kilograms. Loaded weight: 23,185 pounds, 10,900 kilograms. Power plant: 2 times Wright GR2600A5B geared radial engines, 1,700 HP, 1,268 kilowatts, each. Performance. Maximum speed: 305 miles per hour, 295 knots, 488 kilometers per hour, at 11,600 feet, 3,540 m. Cruise speed: 224 miles per hour, 360 kilometers per hour. Range: 980 miles, 1,577 kilometers. Wing loading: 46.2 lb/foot superscript 2, 226 kg/m superscript 2. Power/mass: 0.14 HP/lb, 220 W/kg. Armament. Guns: 4 times wing mounted 0.30 in, 7.62 mm, M1919 Browning machine guns. 2 4 times 0.303 in, 7.7 mm, machine guns in dorsal turret, 2 times 0.303 in, 7.7 mm, machine guns in ventral position and provisions for up to 4 times fixed rear firing 0.303 in, 7.7 mm, machine guns. Bombs, 2,000 pounds, 910 kilograms, carried internally. Roll light bomber. Reconnaissance. Manufacturer Glenn L. Martin Company. First flight June 14, 1941. Introduction 1941. Retired 1949. Status retired. Primary users Royal Air Force, Royal Canadian Air Force, Royal Australian Air Force, South African Air Force. Number built 1,575. Unit cost $120,000. Developed from Martin, Maryland.
Please subscribe and thanks for watching.